Ladies and gentlemen, it is my privilege to welcome a speaker who has not only captured the hearts and minds of audiences globally, but has also inspired them to reach their full potential. He is a keynote speaker who has taken the stage in front of some of the world's most powerful and influential companies, and with each opportunity has left a lasting impact on his audience. He is a man of passion, a change maker, and a risk taker. His journey as a motivational speaker began with a spark and has grown into a wildfire, reaching millions through his YouTube channel and podcast. His work has earned him recognition as one of the top keynote speakers in India and a thought leader to follow. But what truly sets him apart is the impact he's had on individuals and organizations around the world. As an unconventional speaker, he challenges his audience to think differently, embrace change, and strive for greatness. He shows us that anything is possible if we dare to chase our dreams. Today is his favorite day of the week, and now is his favorite best place to be. He believes no dream is too big, no place is too small, and no time is better than now. So ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Mr. Simerjeet Singh. Put your hands together.
Yes, thank you, yes. I don't know if I'm eligible for the raffle yet or not, because I've not only met more than 10 sponsors perhaps, but also taken a lot of pictures, so hopefully. Well, welcome to you all and good morning. I've heard caffeine and oxygen make a good combination. So in the expectation that you've all been caffeinated enough, let's get some oxygen in. Everybody stand up, please. Let's do it. Let's do this. Spread both your arms out as far as you can. Stretch them out. And welcome to India. How many of you India first time? Raise your hands and say yes. Okay, Jaipur first time. Say yes. Good. All right. So stretch both your arms out. Take a deep breath in. Inhale as deeply as you can. Hold your breath for a few seconds and then exhale. We mix caffeine with oxygen. You see where it takes you. Deep breath in. My name is Simerjeet Singh. I'm also called the Disruption Coach. I help leaders across the world embrace change and disruption. Disruption can fall into two categories. How many? Two. Either you self-disrupt or you wait for your environment or technology or something happening in the external environment to disrupt you. Either cases, it's not easy to deal with. But when it's self-disruption, when you are yourself pushing yourself outside the comfort zone, it is relatively more easier because you're still in charge. But when there's something in your external environment happening and it's forcing you to change, it's more difficult. But I deal in both kinds of disruptions, helping leaders change and transform and organizations change and transform. And I want to begin with a little mental warm-up. Let's read the colors, please, here. Let's go. 1, 2, 3. I'm so glad all of you are here and you're showing up fully, because it's not the same thing on Zoom, is it? Right? People don't show up 100%, sometimes not literally, right? Shake someone's hand on your right and left and remind them, show up 100% every day. Say it now, please. Show up 100% every day. Repeat after me, please. I will show up 100% every day. This is the #1 simple secret of peak performers across the world, across industries, is that they bring their 100% to whatever they're doing every single day. #1 enemy of peak performance, boredom. I've been there before. I know how conferences are. I know how this is. And you let that boredom sink in and you miss out on so many opportunities to make a difference. Yes or no? It's people who wake up every morning and spend some time conditioning themselves. Doing what? I don't hear you. Conditioning themselves for a little bit of peak performance. You see, they reach out a little bit more, they connect a little bit more, they say a few more hellos, they smile a little bit more, and they walk away richer. And this is what the top 1% do differently than the rest of us. It's no rocket science. It's as simple as that, right? And I must congratulate the organizing committee. Give them a huge round of applause, please, for putting this together at a very opportune time. I want to speak for a few minutes about what McKinsey's chairman, Bob Sternfeld, called India's century. He said this will not just be India's decade, it is going to be India's century. That's what he said. And there's so much happening in the environment to sort of back up that claim. India surpasses UK to become the world's 5th largest economy. That happened a couple of years ago. That's old news now. We exceeded China in terms of population growth also a year ago, right? And we will continue to maintain that status till the end of the century. That McKinsey report also said India will add by the end of this decade. By when? End of this decade, an additional 100 million into its middle class, with 65% of the population moving into the so-called middle class. They're school kids, my friends. Who? School kids going on trips to Europe for school holidays. And that's how this country is changing. I was 21 when I first sat on a plane. And I talked to my neighbor the other day. I said, where's your kid this summer vacation? Or he's gone to Europe on a trip organized by her school. This is a new country we live in. It's changing. Long story short, all I'm trying to say is there's plenty of opportunities here. There's tons of money. But as with any other opportunity, opportunities are usually not given to us. They are taken and availed, just like this book will be for the first person who'll come and take it. We'll have to come and take it. Come on! Come up here for a second. No, come up here for a second, yeah. Now, you're the winner, of course. Now, give a huge round of applause for the winner, please, today. Yes? And a huge round of applause for this gentleman as well for trying. There's two ways to approach situations like these, ladies and gentlemen. How many? Two ways. There's the fixed mindset and the growth mindset. If you, sir, walk back with a fixed mindset, you will say, I always hesitate at the last moment, or you'll take something negative away. Person with a growth mindset says, I'm going to reach for it straight next time, right? That's what a growth mindset is. I encourage all of you in this changing, dynamic economy with plenty of opportunities to live with a what mindset? Growth mindset. Thank you very much. You can return back to your seats. Huge round of applause for them. Opportunities are always around us. We need to reach forward and grab them. And when you miss a few, when you do what? I don't hear you. When you miss a few opportunities or when things don't work out, don't take it personally, all right? This is what growth mindset people do. They don't take their setbacks personally. They keep trying, they keep experimenting. And talking about India, coming back to the opportunities thing, IMF just revised its economic outlook saying India will continue to grow at 7%, up from 6.5 to 7. McKinsey said this is going to continue for at least a decade. 7% annual growth is going to be a standard in this country. One of the not premier, but the airline with the biggest market share is called Indigo. How many of you have flown with them? Raise your hands. And it's been around for how many years? Probably 20, roughly. Is it a full service carrier or budget airline? Budget airline with a very clear positioning around being a budget airline. Just 6 months ago, or a few months ago, they're revising their policy. They want to introduce what? Business class seats, all right? They say, we don't want the extra money going out to our other competitors. This is an airline which was born on the simple principle that we will make flying affordable for everyone. And they're realizing there's a whole lot of cash they're leaving on the table. They don't want to leave it there. They're now introducing business class seats. That's the country we're living in, with where you are. I hope you make a lot of connections. I hope you walk away with a lot of richer business connections. The biggest orders on the books of the world's top aircraft manufacturers come from Indian Airlines, well, namely Air India and Indigo for Airbus, and it's a huge thrust that the government is also putting on the infrastructure. So the next 10 years, 5 years is going to be a space to watch for with loads of opportunities. You must be familiar with, I told you already about McKinsey's prediction about India's century. How many of you from the NCR region, Delhi NCR? Now, these luxury apartments, roughly $1 million each, but if you calculate, it's about 900,000 US dollars. But for the sake of ease of discussion, roughly $1 million each luxury apartments get sold out, 900 units, sold out in less than 3 days before launch to the public. It was a pre-launch, and it was wiped out. I mean, they didn't have a single apartment left. That's the scope of the huge demand. I will not even talk about weddings. You all know why. You've heard enough, you've seen enough of those reels, and I will not even go there. But simple statistics, Indians spend twice. How much? twice on weddings as much as they do on education. Not something I'm particularly proud of, but hey, don't take the stats personally, all right? Sometimes I talk about leadership statistics and, people take it personally. Those companies never invite me back again. I'm like, don't take stats personally. These are just stats. Big fat Indian wedding is second only to food and grocery, ladies and gentlemen. Second only to food and grocery. You must have heard about this company called NVIDIA, yeah? Making big money selling what? GPUs, chips, to be used in what? Artificial intelligence computers. Guess we're also contributing to the sales, but not for AI yet, for video editing. For all the photographs that are clicked at weddings, India is fueling the sales of those chips because more orders are being placed for all the editing that needs to be done for those videos and audios. And that's the country, and that's where it is, and that's where the ambitions are. And I moved back after 12 years abroad in 2007 back to India because I must walk the talk, yes or no? And from Singapore to Sambalpur, based out of a suitcase technically, I've traveled north, south, east, west, and I see huge ambition. I've been part of a lot of transformation projects, especially, that's my forte, helping leaders transform, including public sector organizations who want to reinvent how we sell fuel. So a fuel retailer is not just selling fuel, it is now being perceived as an experience. As a what? As an experience point. And those public sector organizations are also changing. The gentleman you see on the bottom left-hand side leads one of the largest Indian companies, the number one in the Indian companies in the Forbes 500 list, is the chairman of Indian Oil. And what I've seen from these, and how many of you are in leadership roles? Raise your hand, say yes. Right, and here's some important takeaways. What I've seen from these leaders and observed is this. Can we read it together, please? 1, 2, 3. Organizations become great when the people when the people who are driving the organization are striving for their greatness or striving to unleash their full potential. And I've seen it, these transformation projects succeed when the leaders have that what? That spark, that desire, when they're excited about the future. This is once again a deep breath moment. Deep breath in. Say hello, partner. Say hello to the person sitting next to you. Say hello, partner. Hello. Say it to them. Look them in the eye and say to them, be excited about the future. Say it now, please. Be excited about the future. Elon Musk talked about this when he was in the hub of the traditional auto manufacturing in Germany. He said, I'm making electric cars, but I must be what? Excited about the future. And this is this one skill that these leaders have at the top, is they are very excited about the future. Because guess what? When leaders are not striving, let's do the simple experiment. Put your right hand up in the air, as high as you can. Is this your best? As high as you can. Come on, we've heard a lot of, okay, good. We see a change happening in the room. Can we still go higher? I mean, is this as high as you can? There's still more margin? Is there more margin? You have to break a few rules in order to do that, and that is right. Yes, excellent. Thank you for showing us. Now, once again, hello, partner. Hello, partner. Partner, there is always room for growth. Say it now, please. There is always room for growth. When we are not striving, when leaders are not striving, it is a dangerous place to be in. Because that's when we become complacent. Yes or no? Or conditioned to comfort. What's the phrase? Conditioned to comfort. I know how things are, my business is predictable, and I love it, and I've mastered it. And now I become what? I become conditioned to comfort. I want you to experience, not just hear these words, but I want you to experience this, and we have enough time. So why don't you all stand up, please, for a little activity. Don't we love activities in the morning? This is to help you understand the power of conditioning. And then I did what? I disrupted. I changed it. And that's going to happen all the time. You see, this is where we live, the green circle. What's it called? I don't hear you. It's how things are. Predictability, I know my work, I know my business, geopolitics, everything's stable. But this is where all the innovators live. People who want to change things, challenge things. And when they hit on status quo, They create what? They create uncertainty. You with me? They disrupt the patterns. And whenever patterns are disrupted, what happens to us? We feel stress and anxiety. And that is the biggest mistake leaders make during times of change and transformation. When you experience change, if you operate from fear instead of curiosity, do what? If you're operating from fear instead of curiosity, curiosity says, we'll find out, let's see how it goes. Fear says, no, I'm going to resist change. It's a dangerous place to be in because you end up doing this. Read this together, please. We do what? What? We overestimate our challenges and underestimate ourselves. In other words, we panic. Can you relate to that? Right? Right? So once again, hello, partner. Partner, fear is the wrong choice. Say it now, please. Fear is the wrong choice. When you're operating from fear, you are exaggerating what lies ahead, and you are underestimating yourself. It's called a PhD in self-sabotage. What's it called? A PhD in self-sabotage. It's like killing your own potential, and that's a very dangerous thing to do. So one of the top traits I've seen in top-performing leaders during times of transformation is they keep their tank full, right? Leaders are dispensers of enthusiasm and positivity. People will turn to you to look for clues of how to react. In botany, there's a term for this. It's called the heliotropic effect. What's it called? Heliotropic effect, which means plants generally move towards what? Sunlight. People generally move towards what? People who exhibit the traits of sunlight, of a sunny disposition, of positivity and optimism. And this is what leaders ought to do in tough times, to have that extra reservoir of energy. Because leaders, how many of you believe you're a leader in this room? Raise your hands. Yes? Leaders are CHROs. What is it? CHROs. Want to take a guess what that is? Chief Human HR. Think. CHRO. Every leader is a CHRO. Chief Hurdle Removal Officer. That's what every leader is. A what? A Chief Hurdle Removal Officer. And guess what? You can only remove hurdles for the people when you have that little bit of extra energy, positivity, enthusiasm, joy inside you. So take out that time, ladies and gentlemen. Self-care is not selfish. In fact, if you are in a leadership position, you ought to devote time to your self-care so that you are in your peak shape because others are looking up to you. And if you're not leading people, it's a very dangerous place to be in. Stop leading the teenager at home, and guess what will happen? They'll follow peer pressure, yes or no? They'll follow Instagram Reels, yes or no? Stop leading your team. I heard this new term in business. It's called leave your business in autopilot, right? There's courses on this now, which is ridiculous. Have you heard, what if your pilot makes an announcement when you sit in the plane? Oh, this is your pilot speaking. We're working from home today. This plane is on autopilot. You wouldn't want to fly that plane. And why would you want to be part of a business which is running on what? Autopilot. Say hello, partner. Lead people, manage inventories. Say it now, please. Lead people, manage inventories. Manage your rooms, manage your revenues, manage your events. But when it comes to people, lead me, please. That's what the human beings in your organizations, and I know AI is making huge strides. 10 years from now, you probably won't have a motivational speaker. You'll have some bot who's mixing up all these things and giving it to you. But at the moment, it's a real human being. Yes, no? And they are the heart of your business, and they need leadership. They need you to step forward and say, to be part of it, not just step forward, stay at the back, stay in the side, but they need somebody who cares. They need somebody who cheers for them. They need somebody who will come and light their spark when their spark goes out. And that's what leadership is, ladies and gentlemen. So manage inventories, lead people, because when you leave that vacuum, and I'll close on this, mindful of the time. Peter F. Drucker, he said this. Excuse me. He said, there's only 3 things. How many? 3 things that happen in the absence of leadership. Any guesses? Very close. There's only 3 things that happen in the absence of leadership. Thank you very much. That's one of them. So here are the 3. Number 1, friction. Number 2, confusion. Number 3, as a result, underperformance. And he said, for everything else, we need leadership. I will close on this very important public experiment that was done somewhere in the US. In an elevator, they put a camera. They put a what? Camera. There's one member of the public, just like yourself or me, who doesn't know there's an experiment going on, okay? There's 15 members of a company who've been paid to stand in the elevator, but in a different way, in an unconventional way. They want to film and capture what is the impact of half these 15 people on that one member of the public. It'll say 1,000 words about leadership, peer pressure, and culture, and why we follow what we see around us. And this is what happens when you don't exercise leadership. You know what happens? Social proof takes over. It's how things are actually done around here takes over. So lead people, manage inventories, be nimble and agile in a changing environment, right? Save your energy. Energy is your most precious currency. Use it where it's giving you the biggest ROI. These are some of the simple secrets of peak performers. I know time's up, but I wanted to close on a story. But I know we're already 6 minutes over short time, so yeah, maybe. Are you sure? The audience doesn't seem that interested, so. Are you guys sure? Story? Yes. Say it out loud then. Yes. So I have a little ritual before a story. It's called deep breath in, inhale. It's an ancient Indian story. Once upon a time, in ancient India, there lived a very rich and influential man in the middle of the country. Okay? He had only one beautiful daughter who was about 23, 24. And I'm talking about medieval India, thousands of years ago. As a responsible father, he was looking for the right sort of groom for his daughter. And there used to be a process back then in medieval India, my friends, called the Swayambar, which was more or less a competition where the strongest and the wisest and the wittiest and the most able man would win, and that's how daughters of royalty would get married. So this man made an announcement. He said, the young man who will win the Swayambar, which is a competition, will not only get the hand of my daughter in marriage, but also 50% of all my wealth. How much? 50% on the spot. Good offer, yes or no? How many of you would show up? Yeah? I mean, a lot of them married men also raise their hands like, yes, go outside the comfort zone. This competition was arranged around a huge pool, and the old man came and he announced, thousands of young men had gathered, said the first man to jump in this pool and emerge from the other side alive will be the winner. With every prize, there's always a catch. Nothing in this world is free. You have to pay the price. This pool was full of alligators. But as soon as it made this announcement, he heard a loud splash. Somebody had already jumped in, and the whole crowd was motivating him. Let me hear that sound. How do you do that? Woo! And he's like swimming with all his might. And he emerges on the other side, alive and without a scratch. The man's very happy. He runs up to him and says, son-in-law, welcome to the family. He said, uncle, hold it right there. I'm actually a married guy. I came here to see what the fuss was all about. I will speak to you later. But first of all, I have to find the person who pushed me into this swimming pool. This is one of those last hello partner moments. Say hello partner. Keep pushing yourself. You've been a wonderful audience. I wish you a great, great conference ahead. Thank you all very much. Welcome to India. Thank you, thank you. Thank you for your love and honor. And once again, thanks to QnA.